Welcome to the Sauce and Gravy channel. Johnny Mac here, the gravy guy. If you haven't tried to spatchcock a turkey for Thanksgiving or Christmas, you've got to give it a shot. It's quick and it's easy, and you can make a delicious gravy with it. Let me show you how. Let's begin with the prep work for the turkey. The day ahead of time, break out that bird, remove the giblets from the neck area, and know that is not a baby turkey. Take the neck out and put it to the side. To spatchcock the turkey, you're going to remove the backbone and butterfly that bird. You can score the back of the bird where you're going to cut it. That's optional. Remove the tail, throw it away. It has the preen gland or oil gland, and you definitely don't want that in your gravy. Cut out the backbone, starting at the bottom of the turkey, moving up to the top. You can use kitchen shears or you can use a knife. It's not too difficult, just be careful. Once you've completed one side, knock out the other. By spatchcocking, you can cook the bird faster and you can cook it evenly. You can also make your own stock with the back and the neck. The next step is to flatten out the turkey. Flip it over, put your hand on the breastbone, push down. It's not too terribly difficult. You might have to put a little weight into it, but once you hear the breastbone crack and the wishbone crack and everything flattens out, you're good to go. Next step, dry brining the turkey. Pat off both sides with paper towels until nice and dry, and then douse it with salt. This will help with flavor, crisp skin, and juiciness. Throw the turkey into the fridge overnight uncovered. The next day, take that turkey out of the fridge, let it sit at room temperature for at least 30 minutes before you bake it. While it sits, you can make a butter herb mixture to stuff under the skin. Take a half a stick of butter, set it out the night before, and let it become soft. The next day, you can put any combination of herbs and spices that you like and mix it all together. For this recipe, I'm going to chop up some fresh thyme, some fresh sage. I'm going to put in some minced garlic with a small amount of paprika, a dash of celery salt, and I'm going to spank in some black pepper. And that's the magical thing about making everything from scratch homemade. You can make it how you like it. If you like it spicy, throw in some Cajun spice mix. Why not? Knock yourself out. Here comes the part that everybody loves. You're going to make pockets between the turkey skin and the meat. You can make these little compartments above the breast, above the thighs. You can even do the legs as well. Take some balls of that shrubbery butter and throw it in between the meat and the skin. And yes, as you can imagine, whenever this slowly cooks in the oven, actually it's going to cook pretty quick, it's going to add loads of flavor and juiciness. After you get a good amount of that butter to the inside, make sure to spread it out, evenly distribute it, push it around, and then save some of that butter for the top or the outside of the skin. That'll help get it nice and crispy. Delicious job, that looks amazing. Spank on some pepper. And the final step before you throw the bird into the oven, add 2 cups or 500 milliliters of water, beer, wine, whatever liquid that you like, but it'll make the best juicy turkey around. Preheat your oven at 400 Fahrenheit, 200 Celsius, cook the bird for 6 minutes per pound, or until an internal temperature of 165 Fahrenheit or 74 Celsius is reached. While that turkey bakes in the oven, you can make a quick stock. Begin with some light prep work. Chop up that turkey back and neck, and you know what? This is one of those times that you get to break out that meat cleaver. Playing with knives, nothing better. Oh, the pleasure of the holidays. You'll also be able to polish that blade and get choppy on some aromatic vegetables. I'm going to chop 1 onion, 1 stalk of celery, and 1 carrot. You can keep it simple. It doesn't have to be too complicated. All right, you're doing a great job. Now it's time to make that delicious homemade turkey stock. Add 8 cups of water to a saucepan off heat. Do not turn on the heat just quite yet. And then throw in that neck and the backbone. Now you can turn the burner up to medium to high heat. Bring the liquid to a simmer. Whenever it starts to simmer, you'll see foam and impurities. Take a ladle, skim it from the top. After you've removed most of the impurities from the top, you can move on to the next step of the stock making process. You can add the shrubbery and the chopped veggies. Begin with some fresh sage and some leek. And as normal, you know the drill. You can add anything to this that you like. I'm going to drop in 2 crushed garlic cloves and 2 bay leaves. I also really like the flavor of thyme, so I'm going to drop a handful in. Of course, add your chopped veggies along with some celery leaves for good measure. Add some black pepper, bring it to a boil. Once it starts to boil, reduce the heat to a low simmer and simmer it for roughly about an hour. And that should time up perfectly with the cooking of that spatchcocked turkey. The turkey I have here is 11.5 pounds, so it's going to take slightly over an hour to cook. Strain out the bones and the aromatics and give it a taste. See if you need to adjust the seasoning. In the end, you should have a little over 3 cups of a delicious turkey stock that was homemade. Here we go. It's been an amazingly quick 1 hour. Yes, not 2, not 3 hours, 1 hour to cook a full turkey. And you know what? Whenever you cook it this way, everything is cooked quickly and evenly. You have a crisp skin, the breasts are nice and moist, the thighs and the legs, they're not undercooked, everything is cooked to perfection. Remove that delicious bird from the baking tray, put it into a warm place and let it rest for about 20 to 30 minutes. And that gives you the perfect amount of time to make a homemade from scratch gravy from the Spatchcocked Turkey drippings. First off, you're going to want to gather all the juices and fats from the baking tray. And if you don't want to strain the liquid, that's perfectly fine. It's just personal preference. If you want a nice smooth sauce, then strain it. If you don't, you like it chunky, go for it. You can keep all those chunks in there. So here you go. You've got all the fats on the top and the juices on the bottom. Pour the delicious turkey dripping juice into the stock. That gives you roughly about 4 cups total. If you plan on using the turkey grease to make a roux, it's a good idea to measure it out to see how much you have. There might be a little bit of juice in there, but that's okay. I have more or less about 1/4 cup of grease to work with. The time has come to make that delicious Thanksgiving or Christmas gravy. Pour your turkey grease into a saucepan over medium heat, then add flour. I'm using all-purpose flour, and then mix it all together. And I know you're wondering, how much fat and how much flour should you use to make your roux? Well, that really all depends on how much cooking stock you have. In the US, we use tablespoons, so a good rule of thumb is 1.5 tablespoons of fat and 1.5 tablespoons of flour per cup of cooking liquid. For all those in other countries that use the metric system, the equivalent proportions for this recipe would be 21 grams of fat and 12 grams of flour per 250 milliliters of cooking stock. So in total, I had 4 cups of cooking liquid, so I used total 6 tablespoons of fat, so 2 tablespoons of butter, 4 tablespoons of the grease from the turkey, and 6 tablespoons of all-purpose flour. Your roux, it should look like wet sand. If it doesn't, you might want to add some more fats, but cook it over medium heat for about 2 to 3 minutes. Then you can whisk your cooking liquid right on into the roux. Your burner, it's still over medium heat. Give everything a mix, make sure that that roux and that cooking stock is well combined. It's always a good idea to snag a spoon and scrape the sides and bottom of the pan to make sure that that roux is up and in that gravy. Bring the sauce to a simmer, and once it starts to simmer, it'll become noticeably thicker. And you can really reduce this and make this as thick as you like. It just depends on how long you want to reduce it down. And one thing that you'll want to keep in mind is whenever this gravy it starts to cool, it'll become a whole lot thicker than it is whenever it's on the burner. When that gravy is as thick as you want it to be, taste it, adjust the seasoning, add a dash of salt and a bit of pepper if necessary. And that's all there is to it. While that turkey was resting, you put together a delicious homemade turkey gravy with the Spatchcocked Turkey drippings. Now all that you have to do is round up that turkey, carve it, take everything else out of the oven or off the stove, and then enjoy. Thank you everybody for watching the Sauce and Gravy channel. I hope you and your family have a happy Thanksgiving and a very Merry Christmas. If you happen to be looking for additional turkey gravy ideas, check out this turkey giblet gravy, or try out this homemade green bean casserole with a from-scratch sauce no-can soup. Thanks again for watching, and keep whisking, y'all.